The morning sun streamed through the tall windows of Adelaide Cottage as Prince William adjusted his casual button-down shirt for the third time. Today was different from any royal event he had ever hosted. Instead of formal protocol and careful distances, he and Kate had planned something that would surprise everyone who knew them. Their new home in Windsor was finally ready, and they wanted to celebrate with the people who had helped make it possible. Kate emerged from the kitchen, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, wearing jeans and a comfortable sweater. She carried a clipboard filled with handwritten notes, her careful planning evident in every detail. The cottage felt warm and inviting, nothing like the grand palaces most people imagined when they thought of royal residences. This was their family home where George, Charlotte, and Louis could run freely through the halls without worrying about priceless artifacts or centuries-old furniture. The guest list for today's celebration was unlike any other royal gathering. Instead of dignitaries and politicians, they had invited the construction workers who had renovated their home, the landscapers who had transformed their garden, the local shopkeepers who had provided materials, and the security team who had worked tirelessly to ensure their family's safety. These were the real people who had made their new life possible, and William and Kate wanted to honor them properly. William walked through the rooms one final time, remembering the months of planning that had led to this day. When they first decided to move to Windsor, closer to the Queen and away from the intense scrutiny of central London, they knew they wanted to do things differently. The renovation had been extensive, but they had insisted on keeping the cottage's original character while making it suitable for a modern family. The kitchen had been completely redesigned, not for show but for actual cooking. Kate had spent hours with the contractors explaining exactly how she wanted the workspace arranged. She loved to bake with her children, and every cabinet and counter had been positioned with family meals in mind. The large island in the center would serve as both preparation space and casual dining area, perfect for homework sessions and weekend breakfast gatherings. Outside, the garden was William's pride and joy. He had worked alongside the landscaping team, getting his hands dirty as they planted trees and designed play areas for the children. The organic vegetable patch was his idea, inspired by his father's passion for sustainable living. He wanted his children to understand where food came from and to appreciate the work that went into growing it. As the first guests began to arrive, Kate felt a flutter of nervous excitement. This wasn't about impressing anyone or maintaining royal image. This was about genuine gratitude and connection. She watched through the window as Tom, the lead carpenter, walked up the path with his wife and teenage daughter. Behind them came Maria, the interior designer who had helped Kate choose paint colors and fabrics that would make the house feel like home rather than a royal residence. William opened the front door himself. No butler or formal announcement needed. His warm smile and genuine handshake set the tone immediately. These weren't subjects meeting their future king. These were friends celebrating together. Tom's wife looked nervous at first, unsure of the proper protocol. But Kate's easy laughter and immediate conversation about Tom's daughter's upcoming exams quickly put everyone at ease. The security team members arrived next, still wearing their serious expressions until they saw William manning the door like any regular host. Dave, who had coordinated their protection during the move, couldn't hide his surprise when William clapped him on the shoulder and thanked him for keeping his family safe during such a vulnerable time. These men and women had worked long hours, often in difficult weather, to ensure the royal family could transition smoothly to their new home. As more guests arrived, the cottage filled with voices and laughter that it had never heard before. The local florist who had provided arrangements for Kate's private moments of decorating chatted with the electrician who had installed child-safe outlets throughout the house. The woman who ran the nearby farm shop where Kate often stopped to buy fresh produce found herself discussing organic gardening with the landscaper who had helped William design their vegetable patch. Kate moved through the gathering, making sure everyone felt welcome and included. She had a gift for remembering personal details, asking about children's school performances and elderly parents' health. This wasn't royal duty. This was genuine interest in the lives of people who had touched theirs. She listened as the painter's assistant shared his dreams of starting his own decorating business, and she offered encouragement and practical advice. William found himself in deep conversation with the project manager, who had coordinated the entire renovation. They discussed the challenges of balancing historical preservation with modern family needs, and William was fascinated by the technical aspects of the work. His genuine curiosity and respect for skilled craftsmanship was evident as he asked detailed questions about restoration techniques and sustainable building practices. The children made brief appearances, George shyly shaking hands with the adults who had transformed his new home, Charlotte chattering excitedly about her new bedroom, and Louis toddling around with his characteristic cheerful energy. The guests were charmed by the natural family interactions, seeing the royal children as simply children enjoying their new space. As the afternoon progressed, the atmosphere grew more relaxed and festive. The formal boundaries that usually existed between royalty and working people seemed to dissolve in the warm environment of the cottage. Stories were shared, jokes were told, and genuine connections were made. This wasn't about duty or obligation. It was about human appreciation and community. The stage was set for something unprecedented in royal history. William and Kate had planned carefully for this moment, when they would show their gratitude in a way that would surprise and delight their guests. The real celebration was about to begin, and everyone present would remember this day as something truly special. Kate disappeared into the kitchen with a mysterious smile, leaving William to continue entertaining their guests in the main living area. The conversation flowed easily as people admired the thoughtful details throughout the cottage. The handmade wooden shelves that displayed family photos alongside children's artwork, the comfortable seating areas that invited relaxation rather than formal posture, and the large windows that filled every room with natural light. Several guests commented on how different the cottage felt from what they had expected of a royal residence. Sarah, the woman who had helped Kate select curtains and soft furnishings, mentioned how surprised she was by the normal family atmosphere. There were toys in corners, books scattered on coffee tables, and the gentle chaos that came with raising 3 active children. This wasn't a showplace. It was genuinely a family home. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Kate was preparing something that would astonish everyone present. She had spent weeks planning this surprise, working out every detail to ensure it would be both meaningful and memorable. Her staff had offered to handle everything, but Kate had insisted on doing this herself. Today was about personal service and genuine gratitude, not royal protocol. She moved efficiently around the kitchen, her movements confident and practiced. Despite her royal status, Kate had always maintained her connection to everyday tasks. She genuinely enjoyed cooking and found it relaxing, a way to stay grounded in normal life despite the extraordinary circumstances of her position. The kitchen had been designed with this in mind, equipped for serious cooking rather than just ceremonial food preparation. The menu she had chosen was deliberately simple but thoughtful. Traditional British comfort food that would appeal to everyone, prepared with the same care she would give to feeding her own family. Homemade sausage rolls, fresh from the oven with golden pastry that filled the kitchen with irresistible aromas. Sandwiches made with locally sourced ingredients, cut into neat triangles and arranged on simple white platters. Kate had also prepared a selection of her children's favorite treats. Chocolate biscuits that she often made for school bake sales, fruit scones with jam and cream, and small individual Victoria sponges that had become her signature contribution to local community events. Everything was homemade, prepared by her own hands as a genuine expression of appreciation. William periodically checked on her progress, offering to help but knowing that Kate wanted to handle this personal gesture herself. He understood the importance of what she was doing. In a world where royal interactions were usually carefully managed and formal, Kate was choosing to serve others as an act of genuine gratitude and humility. As Kate continued her preparations, the guests in the living room were enjoying an unprecedented level of access to royal family life. William shared stories about the renovation process, including moments of frustration when historical preservation requirements clashed with practical family needs. He laughed as he described trying to child-proof centuries-old architectural features while maintaining their historical integrity. The conversation turned to the challenges of balancing public duty with private family life. William spoke candidly about wanting his children to have as normal an upbringing as possible while understanding their future responsibilities. The guests were struck by his thoughtfulness and genuine concern for his children's well-being, seeing him not as a future king but as a devoted father facing universal parenting challenges. Dave, The security coordinator shared his perspective on protecting a family while trying to maintain their privacy and normalcy. The logistics of moving a royal household were complex, but he had been impressed by William and Kate's cooperation and understanding of the necessary restrictions. They had worked together to find solutions that prioritized both safety and family life. Tom, the carpenter, told stories about working on the renovation while trying to maintain absolute secrecy about the family's plans. The project had required careful coordination with multiple security agencies while ensuring that the cottage would truly function as a family home. He had been particularly impressed by William's hands-on approach and Kate's attention to practical details. The local shopkeepers shared their experiences of serving the royal family during the transition period. Mrs. Peterson, who ran the farm shop, described Kate's regular visits to select fresh produce, often with the children in tow. She was struck by Kate's knowledge of seasonal vegetables and her genuine interest in supporting local businesses. These weren't ceremonial visits. Kate was a regular customer who happened to be royal. As the afternoon progressed, the atmosphere grew increasingly warm and convivial. Initial nervousness had completely disappeared, replaced by genuine enjoyment of each other's company. People who would never normally meet were discovering common interests and shared experiences. The renovating team shared technical stories, while the local business owners discussed the challenges and rewards of serving their community. William found himself genuinely learning from his guests. The electrician explained innovative energy-saving techniques that could be applied to other royal properties. The landscaper shared ideas about sustainable gardening practices that aligned with William's environmental interests. These weren't polite conversations. They were substantive exchanges of knowledge and experience. The children made another appearance, this time staying longer to interact with the guests. George showed particular interest in Tom's carpentry tools, asking intelligent questions about how furniture was made. Charlotte charmed everyone with her confident conversation and obvious pride in her new home. Louis provided entertainment simply by being an energetic toddler, delighting the guests with his innocent enthusiasm. Kate's careful timing was perfect. As the conversation reached its peak, with everyone relaxed and enjoying themselves, the delicious aromas from the kitchen intensified. The stage was set for her surprise, something that would transform this gathering from a pleasant social event into something truly extraordinary and memorable. The guests had no idea that their royal hosts were about to serve them personally, overturning centuries of royal protocol in favor of genuine human connection and gratitude. Kate emerged from the kitchen carrying a large tray loaded with perfectly arranged food, her face glowing with satisfaction and a hint of nervous excitement. The room fell silent for a moment as everyone processed what they were seeing. The future Queen of England was serving them personally, carrying their refreshments with the same care and attention that any thoughtful host would provide. William immediately moved to help, taking a second tray from the kitchen and following Kate's lead. Together they began moving through the room, offering food directly to each guest with warm smiles and personal attention. The sight was unprecedented and deeply moving. Here were two people who could have had armies of staff handling every detail, choosing instead to serve others with their own hands. Tom's wife gasped softly when Kate approached her with a selection of sandwiches, asking about dietary preferences and recommending her personal favorites. The interaction was so natural and genuine that the formality of royal protocol seemed almost absurd in comparison. Kate remembered that Tom's daughter was vegetarian and had specifically prepared options for her, a thoughtful detail that brought tears to the girl's eyes. William approached Dave with a plate of warm sausage rolls, thanking him again for his dedication to protecting their family during the vulnerable transition period. As he served the security coordinator, William spoke about the peace of mind that came from knowing his children were safe, and how that allowed him to focus on his royal duties without constant worry. The personal nature of his gratitude was evident in every word. The local business owners were overwhelmed by the gesture. Mrs. Peterson, the farm shop owner, found herself speechless when Kate personally served her tea and asked about her opinion of the scones. Kate mentioned that she had used eggs from Mrs. Peterson's farm, creating a beautiful circle of community support and appreciation. The simple act of serving tea became a profound statement about valuing local connections. Sarah, the interior designer, was particularly moved when both William and Kate thanked her for helping create a space that truly felt like home. Kate served her favorite biscuits while explaining how much the children loved their new bedrooms and how important it had been to balance royal requirements with family comfort. The personal service emphasized the genuine nature of their appreciation. As William and Kate continued serving their guests, the atmosphere in the room shifted dramatically. Initial surprise gave way to deep emotion as people realized the significance of what was happening. These weren't ceremonial gestures or carefully orchestrated photo opportunities. This was genuine service, offered freely and with obvious pleasure by two people who could have chosen any other approach. The conversation that resumed was different from before, deeper and more meaningful. The act of being personally served by their royal host had broken down the final barriers of formality. People began sharing more personal stories, speaking about their families, their hopes, and their connections to the community. The room filled with authentic human connection. Kate noticed that the painter's young assistant seemed overwhelmed by the attention, so she sat beside him for a few minutes, asking about his artistic ambitions while offering encouragement and practical advice. Her genuine interest in his future plans was evident, and she promised to help him connect with other opportunities in the area. This wasn't royal charity. It was one person helping another achieve their dreams. William found himself in an extended conversation with the project manager about the balance between preserving historical architecture and meeting modern family needs. As he served drinks and offered food, they discussed innovative solutions that could be applied to other heritage properties. The informal setting allowed for a depth of technical conversation that would have been impossible in formal circumstances. The children joined the service, carefully carrying small plates of biscuits under their parents' watchful eyes. George took his role seriously, making sure everyone had napkins and asking politely if anyone needed more tea. Charlotte chatted cheerfully with the guests while distributing her mother's homemade treats, her natural confidence charming everyone. Even Louis helped by bringing people small paper plates, his innocent enthusiasm adding joy to every interaction. The landscaping team was particularly touched when the entire family served them together, with William and Kate both expressing appreciation for the beautiful garden they had created. Kate mentioned how much she enjoyed working in the vegetable patch with her children, and how the outdoor spaces had already become central to their family life. The personal service, while discussing their shared creative vision, created a profound connection. As the serving continued, stories emerged about the renovation process that revealed the human side of royal life. Kate laughed as she described trying to organize family life while workers were renovating around them, and William shared his frustration with security requirements that sometimes conflicted with his desire for a normal family environment. These personal glimpses, shared while personally serving their guests, created unprecedented intimacy. The electrician's family was overwhelmed when Kate specifically thanked them for working around the children's schedules, ensuring that the electrical work was completed safely without disrupting family routines. She remembered specific details about accommodations they had made, serving them with obvious gratitude while discussing how important it had been to maintain normalcy for George, Charlotte, and Louis during the transition. The florist found herself in tears when both William and Kate served her while expressing appreciation for the beauty she had brought to their home. They had noticed every arrangement, every seasonal touch, and every effort she had made to create welcoming spaces. The personal service, while acknowledging her artistic contribution, was profoundly meaningful. As the afternoon progressed, the act of serving transformed from surprise to natural expression of the values William and Kate wanted to embody. They moved through the room with obvious pleasure, engaging each person individually while ensuring everyone felt valued and appreciated. This wasn't duty or obligation. This was choice made freely and with genuine joy. The foundation was laid for an afternoon that would be remembered forever, not just by those present but as a model for authentic leadership and human connection. The afternoon sun shifted, casting warm golden light across the cottage as William and Kate continued their unprecedented personal service to their guests. What had begun as a simple gesture of gratitude was becoming something much more profound, a complete reimagining of how royalty could connect with the people who supported them. Kate returned to the kitchen multiple times, bringing out fresh selections of food and ensuring everyone's dietary needs were met. She had remembered details about each family, including the carpenter's son who was allergic to nuts and the security guard's wife who was following a gluten-free diet. These weren't details from official briefings. Kate had genuinely listened and cared enough to remember personal conversations from months earlier. The painter's team was particularly moved when Kate personally served them while discussing the careful color choices they had made together. She remembered their debates about which shades would best capture natural light, and how they had tested different options in various rooms at different times of day. The collaborative nature of their work was acknowledged as Kate served tea and asked about their current projects. Genuinely interested in their professional lives, William took particular care with the groundskeeping staff, serving them while walking through the rooms and pointing out details that showcased their excellent work. Through the large windows, guests could see the beautiful garden spaces that had been created, and William's appreciation for their artistry was evident as he personally offered refreshments while discussing their shared vision for sustainable landscaping. The local business owners found themselves in extended conversations with both William and Kate as they were served. Mrs. Peterson discovered that Kate had specific plans for expanding her vegetable garden and wanted to source more supplies locally. The conversation that unfolded over tea service revealed Kate's genuine commitment to supporting community businesses, not as royal duty but as personal choice. As the afternoon progressed, the children became more involved in the serving process, creating heartwarming moments that touched every guest present. George carefully helped his father carry trays, taking his responsibility seriously and learning through example about service and gratitude. His polite attention to each guest, ensuring they had everything they needed, demonstrated the values his parents were teaching him. Charlotte's natural confidence shone as she chatted with guests while helping distribute homemade treats. Her genuine interest in people and obvious pride in her home created delightful interactions with everyone present. She showed particular interest in the interior designer's work, asking intelligent questions about color choices and furniture placement that impressed the adults with her thoughtfulness. Even young Lewis contributed to the serving atmosphere, carefully carrying small items and delighting guests with his innocent enthusiasm. His presence reminded everyone that this was indeed a family home, where normal childhood activities happened alongside royal responsibilities. The naturalness of including the children in serving others spoke volumes about the family's values. The security team experienced something completely outside their normal royal protection duties. Instead of maintaining professional distance, they found themselves being personally served by the people they were protecting, while engaging in genuine conversations about family life and personal interests. Dave found himself discussing his own children's activities with William while being offered seconds on homemade scones. The renovation team shared stories about challenges they had overcome while being personally served by the very family who would benefit from their work. Tom talked about preserving original architectural features while installing modern conveniences, and Kate listened intently while ensuring his plate was never empty. The combination of personal service with professional appreciation created unprecedented connection. As William moved through the room with fresh pots of tea, he stopped to have meaningful conversations with each person about their role in creating this family home. The plumber discussed innovative water conservation systems while being served Kate's homemade biscuits. The conversation revealed William's genuine interest in environmental sustainability and his respect for technical expertise. Kate's attention to detail extended beyond just food service. She noticed when someone needed a comfortable chair, when beverages needed refreshing, or when someone seemed overwhelmed by the attention. Her natural hostess instincts combined with genuine care for others' comfort made everyone feel valued and relaxed. This wasn't performed graciousness. It was authentic hospitality. The electrician's family was particularly touched when both William and Kate served them while discussing the careful balance between historical preservation and modern safety requirements. The technical challenges of updating electrical systems in a heritage building were acknowledged and appreciated, while the family was made to feel honored for their specialized contributions. Local craftspeople found themselves in detailed conversations about their trades while being personally served by people who genuinely appreciated skilled workmanship. The furniture restorer discussed techniques for preserving antique pieces, while Kate offered him tea and asked about his training and experience. These weren't polite royal inquiries. They were substantive conversations between people who respected each other's expertise. The florist discovered that Kate had specific knowledge about seasonal arrangements and garden design, leading to an enthusiastic discussion about future projects while William ensured her plate was kept full. The conversation revealed Kate's genuine interest in creating beautiful spaces and supporting local artistic talent, far beyond ceremonial flower purchases. As the serving continued, guests began to understand that they were experiencing something unprecedented in royal history. This wasn't a photo opportunity or carefully managed public relations event. William and Kate had chosen to personally serve others as an authentic expression of gratitude and human connection, creating memories that would last lifetimes. The atmosphere in the cottage had transformed completely from the formal gathering people had expected. Laughter filled the rooms as genuine friendships formed across social boundaries. The act of personal service had broken down barriers and created space for authentic human connection, demonstrating a new model for royal engagement with ordinary citizens. As the afternoon reached its peak, the cottage was filled with the warmth of genuine human connection that transcended all social boundaries. The personal service that William and Kate continued to provide had created an atmosphere unlike anything their guests had ever experienced. People who had arrived nervous about meeting royalty were now relaxed participants in what felt like an extended family gathering. Kate noticed that several guests seemed reluctant to accept additional food, perhaps feeling unworthy of such personal attention from their future queen. She addressed this directly, sitting down with small groups and explaining how meaningful their contributions had been to her family's happiness. While personally refilling teacups and offering seconds on homemade treats, she shared specific examples of how each person's work had impacted their daily lives. The landscaping team learned that Kate spent early mornings in the garden they had created, finding peace before the children woke up. As she served them fresh scones with jam, she described how the quiet beauty of their design work had become essential to her well-being. The personal nature of her gratitude, expressed while actively serving them, brought tears to several team members' eyes. William took time to sit with the construction supervisors, serving them while discussing the long-term vision for maintaining the cottage. His questions about preservation techniques and sustainable materials revealed genuine interest in their expertise. As he personally offered refreshments, he asked for advice about future projects on other royal properties, treating them as valued consultants rather than hired workers. The children had become natural participants in the service, learning through example about gratitude and humility. George helped serve drinks while asking thoughtful questions about different professions represented in the room. His genuine curiosity about carpentry techniques and garden design showed that he was absorbing lessons about respecting skilled work and appreciating others' contributions. Charlotte continued to charm guests with her confident conversation while helping distribute desserts. She had specific knowledge about different rooms in the cottage and could explain the collaborative decisions that had shaped their home. Her pride in their family space, combined with her natural ability to make others feel special, created memorable interactions for everyone present. The security team found themselves in an unprecedented situation, being personally served by the family they protected while discussing the balance between safety and normal life. William served them while acknowledging the sacrifices they made to ensure his family's security, recognizing that their professional dedication affected their own family time and personal lives. Local business owners discovered that William and Kate had specific plans for supporting community enterprises beyond this single celebration. As Kate served afternoon tea, she discussed ongoing partnerships that could benefit local craftspeople and suppliers. These weren't vague royal promises. They were concrete plans developed through genuine relationships with their new community. The painter's assistant found himself in extended conversation with both William and Kate about artistic education and career development. While being personally served homemade refreshments, he received practical advice about training opportunities and professional networking. The royal couple's genuine investment in his future success was evident in their detailed suggestions and offers of connection. As the serving continued, stories emerged about the renovation process that revealed the collaborative nature of creating their family home. Kate described working alongside the interior designers to select fabrics that would withstand children's activities while maintaining elegance. William shared his hands-on involvement with landscape planning, getting dirty alongside workers to understand their craft. The electrician's family learned about the technical challenges of updating heritage buildings while maintaining historical integrity. William served them while discussing innovative solutions they had developed together, treating their expertise with obvious respect and appreciation. The conversation revealed his genuine fascination with skilled craftsmanship and problem-solving. Local suppliers found themselves planning future collaborations while being personally served by their royal customers. Mrs. Peterson discovered that Kate wanted to expand her support of local farming and organic produce, leading to discussions about seasonal availability and sustainable practices. These conversations, conducted while Kate personally served tea and cakes, laid groundwork for ongoing community relationships. The cottage's atmosphere had transformed into something magical, where social hierarchies disappeared in favor of human connection. Guests who had never expected to interact with royalty found themselves planning future projects and sharing personal stories while being served by people who genuinely cared about their lives and contributions. Children from several families had arrived and were playing with George, Charlotte, and Louis in the garden, visible through the large windows. The sight of royal and non-royal children playing together naturally, while their parents shared food and conversation inside, symbolized the authentic community that William and Kate were creating around their new home. The renovation team shared technical stories, while being personally served by the family who would benefit from their craftsmanship for years to come. Their detailed discussions about preservation challenges and innovative solutions revealed the depth of collaboration that had gone into creating this family space, far beyond typical contractor-client relationships. As afternoon moved toward evening, the personal service continued without any sense of obligation or formality. William and Kate moved through their guests with obvious pleasure, ensuring everyone felt valued and appreciated. Their children participated naturally, learning through example about gratitude, service, and genuine connection with people from all walks of life. The unprecedented nature of the afternoon was not lost on anyone present. They were witnessing and participating in something that challenged traditional royal protocols, while demonstrating a new model for authentic leadership. The personal service being provided wasn't about duty or image. It was about choice made freely and with obvious joy. As the golden afternoon light began to soften into early evening, the celebration at Adelaide Cottage reached its most meaningful moments. The personal service that William and Kate had provided throughout the day had created something unprecedented, transforming what could have been a formal royal reception into an authentic celebration of community and human connection. Kate made one final trip to the kitchen, emerging with a beautiful homemade cake that she had prepared specially for this occasion. The sight of the future Queen of England carrying her own baking, made with her own hands as a gift for the people who had helped create her family's home, provided a perfect symbol for the entire afternoon. She had chosen to honor these relationships through personal effort and genuine care. William helped serve the cake, ensuring each guest received a generous portion while sharing the story of Kate's careful planning for this surprise. He described her determination to handle every detail personally, from the menu planning to the actual cooking and service. His obvious pride in his wife's authentic approach to hospitality was evident as he served dessert to people who had become genuine friends. The children joined this final serving ritual, carefully helping to distribute cake, while their parents ensured everyone felt included and valued. George had learned through observation how to anticipate guests' needs, offering napkins and checking that everyone had drinks with their dessert. Charlotte continued her cheerful conversations, now completely comfortable with guests who had become extended family for the afternoon. Even young Louis participated, carefully carrying small paper plates and delighting everyone with his innocent enthusiasm for helping. His presence reminded everyone that this was genuinely a family celebration, where normal childhood energy and royal responsibility coexisted naturally. The integration of all three children into the service demonstrated the values their parents were instilling through example. As people enjoyed Kate's homemade cake, the conversation turned to the broader significance of what they had experienced. Several guests mentioned that they would remember this afternoon forever, not just because they had met royalty, but because they had been treated as valued friends and collaborators. The personal service they had received had created emotional connections that transcended social boundaries. Tom, the lead carpenter, spoke for many when he described how honored his family felt to be served personally by people who could have chosen any other approach to showing appreciation. His wife was particularly moved by Kate's attention to their daughter's dietary needs and educational interests, demonstrating care that went far beyond formal courtesy into genuine personal investment. The security team found themselves reflecting on a completely unique experience in their professional careers. Instead of maintaining protective distance, they had been invited into personal relationship with the family they served. Dave expressed his amazement at being personally served by the people he protected while discussing shared concerns about family life and community safety. Local business owners realized they had experienced something that would transform their ongoing relationships with their royal neighbors. Mrs. Peterson described feeling honored not just as a supplier, but as a valued community partner whose contributions were genuinely appreciated. The personal service she had received while planning future collaborations had created bonds that would benefit the entire local area. The renovation team reflected on how the personal attention they had received validated their professional expertise while creating lasting friendships. The technical discussions they had enjoyed while being served by the royal family had demonstrated respect for skilled craftsmanship that went far beyond typical client relationships. They had been honored as artists and collaborators in creating something beautiful. As the celebration began to wind down, William and Kate made a point of personally thanking each guest while helping them prepare to leave. They walked through their new home with small groups, sharing final stories about how different spaces would be used by their family while expressing continued appreciation for everyone's contributions. The children naturally participated in these farewell rituals, shaking hands with adult guests and playing final games with visiting children. Their comfortable interactions with people from various backgrounds demonstrated that the lessons about human equality and respect had been absorbed through the afternoon's example of service and authentic connection. Several guests mentioned that they would never forget being personally served by their future king and queen, not as a ceremonial gesture but as genuine expression of gratitude and friendship. The unprecedented nature of the experience had created memories that would be treasured for lifetimes while establishing a new model for royal interaction with ordinary citizens. As families began to leave, many exchanged contact information and made plans for future interactions. The relationships formed during this afternoon of personal service had transcended the original occasion, creating ongoing connections that would benefit both the royal family and their new community. Genuine friendships had been born from authentic appreciation and mutual respect. Kate and William stood at their front door as the last guests departed, waving goodbye like any family hosting friends rather than maintaining formal royal protocol. Their children gathered around them, tired but happy from an afternoon of learning about service, gratitude, and genuine human connection. The cottage behind them glowed warmly in the evening light, truly transformed into a family home through the relationships that had been celebrated within its walls. As quiet returned to Adelaide Cottage, the royal family reflected on an afternoon that had exceeded their hopes for authentic celebration. They had chosen to honor the people who helped create their new life through personal service and genuine appreciation, creating something unprecedented in royal history. The relationships formed through shared food, honest conversation, and mutual respect would continue to enrich their lives and strengthen their connection to the community they now called home. The golden afternoon had demonstrated that true nobility came not from titles or protocol, but from choosing to serve others with genuine care and authentic appreciation. William and Kate had created a new model for royal leadership, one based on personal connection, mutual respect, and the understanding that everyone's contributions deserved recognition and gratitude.